Erica.
And Liana.
Come join us on Patreon,
where you can unlock weekly episodes of videos and
be invited to Patreon exclusive Zoom meetups.
Just download the Patreon app and search for Night Guys Podcast.
Or go to the website, www.patreon.com/nightguyspodcast.
You can join for as little as $2 a month for full access.
See you on Patreon.
Squiddle diddle 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 diddle.
Hi, it's Erica.
And it's Liana, and this is the Night Guys Podcast. We're here to join you weekly to cover weird and spooky stuff, supernatural, extraterrestrial, cryptid, culty, true crime. And today we have a guest that is extra special, and she's drinking with us. Oh my God.
And she is.
Yay!
Oh, guys. Someone very, very special. Sutton Crawford is here with us.
What?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you tell we're excited? Seriously, we already said this before where we were recording, but guys, if you don't know who Sutton Crawford is, you need to find out, and you're going to today, and then you need to do extra credit and then just chase her down on all the social medias because she's lovely. So There's your homework. You have it up top. Pause it now and then come back.
Yeah, because we will include links to all of your stuff. So Sutton, can you kind of just tell everybody who you are?
Oh, hi. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I'm Sutton Crawford, and I'm an intuitive tarot card reader living in New York City and raising a 2-year-old and living the life, all the stuff. That's what I do.
Which is the coolest.
And a witch, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yay.
As it should.
Clearly, X-Files obsessed, and so every time you guys post David Duchovny, I kind of get, whatever
tingles.
I feel like
I get all the tingles and all the feels.
I feel like that's like a good, like a barometer or whatever you want to call it for like meeting new people. Like, how do you feel about Mulder?
100%. Yeah. I wanted to name my son Fox, and my husband was like, absolutely not.
Rude.
Because of Fox Mulder. I know, so rude. It's true.
That is rude. That's rude.
Oh my God, that would be rude. That's so
Middle
cute.
name Fox? I mean, maybe.
I tried. Guys, I tried really hard. But I'm now working on this is where it all came together. I'm working on a tarot deck with a creator and an illustrator, and their name is Coco Fox. And so we've been playing with the name Fox, and I was like, this is the Kismet moment, right?
That's such a cool. I could never pull that name off. That's too cool.
I know.
They're very cool.
Name.
That's so cool. Well, okay. I'm definitely going to need to see those cards when you're done.
I know. I actually just saw them. I think you posted them to your story, right?
Well, I haven't posted any images yet, but
okay. But you announced it, or I remember something about it. Well, I was very excited.
I was like, are we allowed to talk about this? And she talked about it in a newspaper, and I was like, okay, so clearly I'm allowed to talk about it.
We're like, they're good.
So I'm like, take the initiative.
That just gives you the free reins to go. Yeah.
But we're pretty far. I'm not shocked. We're through the major arcana. We're through the wands. I mean, initial sketches and all that stuff, but it's amazing. So
that'll be like a whole new experience for you, like working with
your own
your cards that are yours and like your babies. That's going to have a whole different energy probably, right?
100%. Yeah. No. And she was saying that she was like, it's going to be so important to have cards that you thought of. And I was like, oh my God, it's true. And I'm there. And she did the Fool. And I was like, I just was like obsessed. And I was like, this is my person. Like you guys.
How dare you? I love it.
That card is your Mulder.
So anyway, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Oh my
likewise.
gosh. I'm just grateful to Erica for actually reaching out because I am the antisocial crab that hides in my little shell where I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to the people. I'm afraid. What if they say no? Because we've had
Then I
people say
yell at
no, and I
people.
was like, not
You're like,
friendly.
"No, thank you."
Like, okay.
Don't.
I don't like
It's
rejection.
fine.
I'm a Libra. I can't help it. I don't know. It's just how I am.
I'm a Libra moon, so I get it.
I'm
Aww.
like Libra, Aquarius, I think. Yeah.
Are
I
you
don't know.
really?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's what we figured out, right?
I think, or you were straight across the board.
No, I
Libra?
think I was
don't
Libra,
know.
Aquarius, and it was like, I'm all kinds of.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I still love you.
Well,
It's
okay.
fine.
Thank you. But I have a question, Sutton, about your cards. When you were working on them with the artist, so you have input on the images? You're describing what you want?
I do.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was very, organic, I guess.
okay.
I met her giving her tarot card readings.
Ah.
And there was this weird kismet moment where she lives in the town that I'm obsessed with, where I met my husband. And I was like, I love that town in Vermont. And then she was like, yeah, I live there. And I was like, what? And then she knew my best friend. It was like so weird. And then I gave her a second reading, and her present position was a really, major card. When you pull the tower for someone in their present position, and you have to be like, wow, what are we going to talk about right now? Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was, it was spot on, as they most often are all the time. And that was the moment where I was like, have you ever thought about doing a tarot deck? Like after the whole thing was over, after her reading. And she was like, yeah, I have this tarot deck that I did, but it was like with animals and bees, and like it was very fun and approachable, right? Because I'm obsessed. I was like, I'm obsessed with making the tarot approachable and not scary and not simple, because it's not simple concepts at all.
No.
But like, you don't have to. Don't make it so fucking hard. Like, it's
Right.
It's been around for so long for a certain reason. That's why it's so archaic and old and has traveled for so many millennia through time to now, because it's like Shakespeare. I said that on the other podcast. It's like Shakespeare. It's like, that's why Shakespeare has lasted so long. So I was like, it should be approachable and fun. And I saw her artwork and I was just like, that's it, right? That's what I want. That's amazing. And so, yeah, I write my descriptions, and she goes into a Word document and reads my descriptions, and then comes to me with the image that she sketches. And then I say, I love that. Don't change anything. Or we talk about like different things. And I say, well, I think maybe this guy should be this, and this person should have whatever. And it's really been organic. And she's the brains of the, what's the word, of the, business side, which is amazing. I was like, how did you get good at business and art? Like,
That's not fair.
So
that's hard.
It was
for her.
No, it's not fair. I was like, what kind of person are you? What? That doesn't make any sense. How are you going to
monster?
Yeah, this was an
It
option
is.
that I could have chosen life.
I know when you chose.
I checked the wrong box.
Yeah.
You checked
I'm so
little
excited.
crab and shell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I was like, that sounds fun. I'm going to be over there. I love shells. Shells are great.
Shells
See,
are
I am a goblin. Like we said earlier, I'm like, I have my jars and I like to collect small shells. It's great. Oh my God.
I like
It
it.
checks out. It checks
It
out.
does, actually. That is me.
So I know you've been asked this like a ton, but just for everybody listening, you consider yourself like an intuitive tarot card reader, right? So how can you explain that a little bit? 'Cause I think that's one of the coolest things about your process. I love
Absolutely. I mean, I said this before, but I'm like, if your tarot card reader is not intuitive, then run the other direction. That's mean, but like the whole point
it's not.
is it's not, right? That's their job. It means you're not reading from a book. It means it's more than just memorization, right? It's the communication that you have while you're doing a reading with the person in real time about what's going on in their life. That's why pulling the tower for someone's present position is so wild, because you're like, wow, what are we going to talk about right now? You know? And I do things a little different. The other thing about me is that I do things differently. Like I started with a spread that a lot of people do, right? Past, present, future. Mm-hmm. Mind, body, spirit. And what just felt right to me was to use 2 oracle decks and a tarot deck. So I use all 3 decks in every reading I do. And they're an hour long. And then I pull from your past into your present into your future. And someone one day was like, is that the Celtic cross? And I was like, no, this is just what I do. I don't know. So there's another part of the intuitive part. And it's just about, when do you stop? It's all the stuff. When do you stop shuffling? And, where do you cut it? Because I'm not doing it. I mean, for a long time, I wasn't doing it in person, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to do it over Zoom. Whereas sometimes tarot card readers will have you touch their deck and shuffle or cut for them, right? Not most people shuffle, but like they'll cut. You'll hand the deck to somebody and they'll cut. So there's a lot of intuition when it comes to sitting on a computer with somebody that you've never met, who's in, Canada, or I had somebody in the UK today, and like that kind of intuition, right? Not having ever touched them or like been in the same room with them. So
you just do what feels right. You're like this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it.
Which is
exactly.
When you really step back and look at it too, that's kind of, I feel like, how they're meant to be used. I think I get like the idea of like the books and the things when you're kind of learning to kind of, not feel so overwhelmed, to have that kind of as like a safety net, in case you doubt yourself maybe. But I love that you approach it just kind of from like an instinct and like your gut, and like, I'm doing it this way because it feels right. And that's kind of what's so beautiful. We've said this a ton before, like about just like the occult and witchcraft and magic and all of that wonderful stuff that's why it's so lovely, because there are no rules. If you want to light a black candle on a day that traditionally it's supposed to be orange, whatever, it's gonna work for you because it feels good. So I mean, because it's all about manifesting, and you're kind of like manifesting how you think the cards should be, because that's how they should be for you. And I love that.
It never occurred to me to do it any other way. So I just did it that way.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so true. I think that like gut and instinct is like the paramount of a movement that's happening right now. And the, witchcraft and, all of these different things is like learning to listen to your intuition and how to not doubt yourself, right? The enemy of intuition is self-doubt. This idea that like, we have to just listen. And there's this big thing with what I find with a lot of people is the difference between fear and intuition, that people will take in fear and think that's their intuition. And it's really not, right? It's just their shadow. It's their fear of a situation, and they're cutting off their intuition before they can even get there because they're layering fear on top of it or whatever it may be. I mean,
that's me.
It's easier said than done. Please, we're all doing the damn work.
I'm working on it.
I was going to say, you can't be hard on yourself about it, Erica, because it's like everything's a process. Everything.
That is so true. We're
But
learning. True. We're not the fastest learners, but we're learning.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, and like what you were both saying is that this past period of time that we've been doing this podcast, I've always been interested like in the like the occult, the ethereal, the otherworldly, everything. But I've always been like afraid to even start. And I realized then learning from speaking with people like you, Sutton, and just doing all of the reading that we've done, like a lot of times it's not book learning necessarily. I mean, sure, of course, there's plenty of reference texts that I have behind me that are certainly helpful in like a journey, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can read all of those and instantly know how to read the tarot properly or manifest something and actually have it fulfill you. Like it's just trusting any weird process that you're doing and being like, nah, this is what I'm doing today. Like, I'm going to go in this direction. It doesn't seem like the right direction to everybody else, but I'm going to try it. And like, that's so cool to me. Like, that's just hearing people like you talk, and even hearing Stinky Erica, that I love so very much, say shit like that.
And they say smart-ish things.
Sometimes.
It's true though. It's
true.
it's nice. I like this whole kind of, as awful and scary and hard as this kind of shift has been within the world lately. It's also been very kind of liberating to see people kind of changing and shifting and waking up a little bit. It's good.
Hard.
There's definitely been, well, I think it's funny. Well, of course I put everything into I'm like, oh, what you were just talking about is the moon. And now what we're talking about is the hanged man. Like I put it all into that context.
So cool. That's awesome.
But this moment of that intuition and that wild part, right? That's the moon. And then this collective pause is the hanged man. And it's the thing that has happened. I say to people, if you're doing it right, if we did it right, the hanged man in general, and the global shutdown, right?
Sure.
With all of its horror and craziness, is that you reevaluated what was important to you, I think was the point, right? We were supposed to get trapped with our families, and not trapped, we got put with our families.
It was trapped sometimes.
Sometimes it was trapped. Yeah, exactly. And that you got to really think about what was important to you, and how you fit into a capitalist society, and safety, and what does that mean, and what does it feel like to be completely stopped, and how kind of either liberating or horrifying that can be. And it seems to be like a very big theme with a lot of people I talk to, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
It's true though. It's so true.
Going back in time a bit for you, Erica has some questions that she wrote up. We got to find out about.
They're very hard questions.
They're really difficult. So like, think really hard.
I'm so scared.
Center yourself.
Be scared.
And be prepared.
Okay. I'm grounded.
Nervous. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you grow up with the paranormal and tarot, and not your like the stuff what you're having your son grow up with right now, like with your experiences and cool stuff like that? Did you grow up that way with your parents being like,
No, I mean, my family are hippies, like diehard hippies.
Like mine.
Exactly. So
love it.
Anything goes. And so
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, I got sent to a really alternative school. It was crazier than Montessori. And
must know more.
So it wasn't like my mom was, but I'm certain it's somewhere in my bloodline. Like I don't know. And I would certainly I've called my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, like all the maternal side of my female lineage, witches for a really long time, but they would never I don't think that they'd ever identify as a witch or say that they were witches. Or did they read tarot? No. Did they do any kind of, no, not at all. We just let our freak flags fly.
Still cool.
So it was just in a super supportive place to
love
grow
that.
up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you being little, if you went to your parents and said like, hey, I think I might have seen like Bigfoot or a ghost or whatever, like, they would have been kind of like, tell me more. Or
100%.
That's so great. I love that.
All in.
I love
They'd have been
that.
like, oh yeah, sure.
Let's go find him.
Yeah. No, I have pictures of me. At like, I'd say I'm 8 years old, and I'm clearly giving some kind of divinatory reading to my uncle with and who lit the candles for me? I was 8. So someone clearly like set this whole thing up. I'll send you guys the pictures if I can find them.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, but my uncle's like there and like committed to this reading I'm giving him. And it like looks very similar to what I'm doing now.
I was going to say, you knew what you were doing, but it was like way deep down and you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Who knows? And then I went to my alternative school took me on a field trip. We would go on field trips every Friday. And we went to a fortune teller. I know, how lucky was I? And we went to a fortune teller, and the lady was like, you have the gift. And it like I never forgot that. That stuck with me forever.
Oh, wow. She said that to you as like while you were a kid.
Yeah,
like
she touched my hand.
Oh my God, it's like out of a movie.
No, it was really weird. She's like, you have the gift. And who knows? She's in the middle of Chicago. Who knows? But I never forgot that. I was like, yeah, I do. I got the gift.
Oh my God.
I want that moment. I'm still waiting for my Chicago lady field trip moment. I need that.
Everybody needs a Chicago lady field trip moment.
For sure. I first in line. Oh my God. That's wild. That was a totally just like mind blown. Even as a kid, I would have been like, wait, what?
No, as a kid, I was like, I know. I was such a jerk.
That's true. That's
so
true.
sure yourself. You're like,
of course
whatever, lady.
Yeah.
Okay. I've known that for years.
You can see it in my soul. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've known that for 8 years because that's how old I am. No, like literally, probably was what I was thinking. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I was like, I'd be really good at this. And no one in my family. And I can't.
Oh, wow.
No, they're all artists though.
Okay.
So clearly,
really cool.
like you grew up in a very supportive household. It wasn't like somebody being like squishing that out of you. Like, don't talk about that. That's bad for you.
No, I'm super lucky, and no religion, and no, So there was no fear. Basically, if you want to, be real honest and like straightforward about it, there was no fear with any of this. It wasn't scary.
That's
me.
So lovely. Because that's what basically religion, for the most part, or at least Christianity, like, it's like
100%.
Be scared all the time. Doubt, worry. Like,
you're a bad person because you were a lady, which means that Eve, you're just a descendant of Eve. Bad.
Yeah. You're a witch.
My mom and dad, my mom tried to get me into Catholicism as a kid because she was born a Catholic, but also she was a hippie. It was really weird. Like, it was just, went to communion and that's it. And then I was like, Mom, I don't like this. This is icky. The little circle, it tastes like gross. I don't like it.
The wafer.
I don't want to eat the circle. And she was like, the wafer. And I'm like, the circle. I don't like it.
The circle.
I'm done. Go. I don't like the circle.
So
also, how weird is that? You guys, how weird is that? Drink the blood of Christ and eat his flesh.
It's obviously a ritual that was stolen.
Also, he was a zombie ghost.
They're all stolen.
He
is a zombie ghost.
Yeah,
all of them are stolen.
Every single one. Every single one.
I was lighting some. I use ethically sourced white sage. Thank you very much. I sage my. You have to.
Yep.
Whispering Winds. I'll look it up. But I sage my cards every single time that I do a reading. Because I do 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. And I don't want to make sure there's nobody's stuff on anybody else's cards. And I was thinking to myself, that thing that they used to, again, I'm
the
not
swinging thing,
Christianity.
The swinging thing.
What's in there?
The pendulum thing that has like herbs and stuff
that
they're burning.
Something going on. Yeah.
I was like, they clearly stole that from witches.
100%.
That was pagan.
Yeah,
it was.
They did. They stole Easter. They stole it all.
All of it. Santa Claus, please. Come on.
Get out of here.
Yeah. It's just so funny because my mom was like, come on, shouldn't you try to? And like, it was weird because she was trying to push it, but then she was also like, but I want to let you be yourself. And my dad's like, don't go to church. I'm like, okay, Dad, bye. I'm going to go into the forest now. Bye.
Yeah. And so I feel you. Mine was
dads
weirder.
Are very similar.
I went to a Christian school and I was the only kid there who didn't belong to a church and had never been. When
Weirdo.
Our teachers asked who has their nativity scene out, I asked what that was. We didn't have one. I went there because my mom thought it would be good SAT prep. I was the only kid at a Christian school who didn't partake in any of the religious stuff.
Like, I just want presents for Christmas. Thanks.
It was just wild. I've said this before in the podcast, but we once had a meeting with the whole school because they didn't want us to read Harry Potter. And I remember as little Erica raising my hand and going, well, so you're cool with the Wizard of Oz? because there's witches in that, and they didn't know what to say, and then I kind of got in trouble.
And then they burned you at the stake is what they did.
Yeah,
They were
I'm
like, she's a
laughing.
witch, burn her.
Like, what?
Oh my God, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I don't
Because
even know where
good
that came
prevails over evil, right?
from. Yeah.
I mean, not really. If we've
Yeah.
read Wicked, we know better. But
Yeah, it's true. Oh,
wow, life is
Yeah,
strange.
so sad.
it
So-
is. And so is religion. Religion is strange.
Oh yeah, it's the weirdest.
Sorry.
I
Go
can't
ahead.
wrap
What
my
were
brain
you
around
saying?
that
Oh,
ever.
never
No,
apologize.
talk forever.
We-
Interrupt us always. Another random question, because I always like talking to people about this. I'm a ghost lover. Liana loves aliens, which scare me.
And ghosts scare the shit out of me.
Oh,
So
holy
together
hell.
we create a broken person.
Perfect yin and yang.
Yeah. How do you? So what's your beliefs, or how do you feel about ghosts, aliens? Do you think they're here? Or please tell me. The tarot cards say no, aliens are not here.
I don't think I wish aliens were here, but I think that they look at us and they're like, this is a mess. We can't get
No.
involved in that right now. I do think there is life on other planets, way smarter than we are. And I do 100% believe in ghosts. I have interacted with ghosts. Not as like clearly, I was like, not as clearly as many people have, but I've certainly have had experiences where I can't explain it. And it's funny because ghosts freak me out and aliens don't freak me out, but my husband is really freaked out by aliens and not ghosts. He also doesn't believe in ghosts, so
we can go on a double date then, and we can debate. I don't know.
We can go on a ghost/alien hunt and all of us be freaked out all at the same time.
I think,
nice.
I think for me, it's like aliens are too unknown for me, and I feel vulnerable at the idea of that, because it's like, how do I protect myself against something that no one can tell me how to? They have a one up on me, like I know it.
I'm like, and ghosts don't make you feel that way?
No,
she
because
talks about wanting to hit them with sticks and rocks. I shit you not. She
Aliens.
talks about hitting aliens with sticks and
I
rocks.
need them to get out of here.
She's like, carry a big stick, throw a rock, kill him with a stick.
No. Oh,
I broke her.
No, I think that they want to save us from our own nonsense, but they just are like, why? Why would I even try? You guys are burning your own planet. You can't come to our place. No.
It's like we're the
You'll
anthill
piss
that
all over
decided to catch
everything.
our own anthill on fire. We're like,
100%. And they're all like
anthill.
looking at us like, really? You come on.
You dummies.
Get your shit together. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd much rather hang out with ghosts. Ghosts give me like, I never explain it well, but ghosts for me are like, I have so much anxiety about what happens next that it's like, if I see ghosts and I have interactions with them, it makes my brain be like, you don't have to worry. Look, there's a ghost in your room right now and they're fine. So I don't have to worry about, yes.
Ghosts are
that make
comforting.
sense?
Who the hell are you?
I'm so weird. I would hang out with like Lydia from Beetlejuice and she'd be like, you're a weird girl. And I'm like, oh boy.
And you could say, I myself am strange and unusual.
Yeah, this is strange and unusual, Lydia.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. No, ghosts freak me out. Ghosts freak me out. And I've had multiple, two scenarios where I had the choice. I had to make the choice to not educate myself further into a situation. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
Like,
man.
my friends and I were doing a ritual. This is my friend. I talk about her. I think I talk about her on every podcast because her and I have always had the witchy stuff. We are, I'm in love with her. She's my best friend. She's my you guys.
Best friend.
I know, Nancy. But she and I and a friend of ours, we were doing ritual witch craft on her hill. She lives in Vermont. And I had a moment where I literally heard in my mind, if you come, there's a grave marker on her property. And we were sitting there and there's a fire and we're doing all the stuff. And I heard, if you come over here, you will see something that will change your life. in my brain. Like I just like thought it. And I said to them, so we have I was like, we have an invitation to go over to go see something and it'll change our lives. And they both said, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, yeah, of course. And I just had this kind of moment where I said, no, thank you, like to myself, whoever this person, whatever that was. And we didn't. And then there was another time where I was, with my boyfriend in high school, and we had an experience and he heard it too. And it was this big elaborate thing. And we pulled the covers over our heads. And I remember choosing not to look, right? I didn't, even if it was a person, even if it was someone playing a prank, I was too frightened. And I know it wasn't a person playing a prank because it was my family's house and they would never do something like that. Yeah. And it was 4 a.m. and blah, blah, blah. And he was so scared. He was so scared. I've never been that scared my entire life. And we pulled the covers over our head not to look because I was like, there's something about that really scares me. That like, what does it mean? What does that mean? Forever. What does that mean?
Oh my God.
I'm so glad. More
so
menacing
glad you didn't.
Almost.
I'm so glad you didn't.
I know, but now I'm kind of sad I didn't.
No, you made the right choice. Follow your gut.
If it would have been me and you there, I would have been like,
yes, you're right. Follow my
intuition. We're going all in.
I mean, you'd have to at that point. I mean,
wow. No, Erica.
And then I've definitely had experiences since reading cards that are uncanny with people who've passed away, but I would never, ever, ever, ever in a million years say I'm a medium or anything like that. But definitely moments of, shocking moments where I'm like, oh my God, why would I have ever thought that? Or how could I have said that? Or all of those things. And it's weird, but that freaks me out way more than aliens.
Oh man.
I'm
so intrigued. Oh, wow. When you had that moment with your friend, the first story you were saying, did you get like a gut feeling where it was like, it's not bad or good? It like the invitation was not menacing,
malicious at all.
Okay.
It was just kind of neutral.
It was clear. So. Yeah, it was totally neutral and it was clairaudient. I could hear it. It was like, it was talking in my mind that wasn't, oh my God, I sound like a psychopath.
No, you don't.
My husband's a muggle. I know, not to you guys. My husband's a muggle. And so he would be like, you're insane. But yeah, no, it was a very clairaudient moment where I heard, if you come over here, it'll change your life. And I can picture what it would have, like I could see the image of someone standing on, and it was just like a little plot in the ground, like a little square. And there's no other people buried there. It was the person who owned a part of the property that she lives on. And I just like pictured someone standing on it. And they were so freaked out for days afterwards. They were like, are you sure that you said no enough? And I was like, yeah, they weren't freaky. I was like, they just literally just wanted to see if we wanted to come over. Like they didn't mean anything menacing by it at all. Like I knew in my soul that like it wasn't bad.
When you think it was that person? Oh, sorry, Juana. No, I know we have so many questions.
When did this happen? How long ago did this happen?
This was 5 years ago.
Have you returned to there and have you done any more? And would you consider it
100%?
Would you actually accept the invitation if it was offered to you again?
Now, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can we go with you?
But there's
my follow-up.
Yeah, right. Come on, let's go.
She's like, I'm going to invite
I'll make
myself.
her listen to the podcast. She would of course be like, come on. The funny thing though with spirits is that, and there's a thing with boundaries. They really, for the most part, I mean, aside from the malicious ones, and again, I'm not an expert of throwing up my hands. There's boundaries that you can put down with things that they'll stop, right? People who don't want, like, please don't throw my shit across the room anymore. And please don't, or that scares my son or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You're right though.
There's boundaries.
That's always been so fascinating to me, that idea that when you hear people tell their experiences and whenever they kind of get own their space and say no, that works. I've always found that
Mhm.
so like, wait, really? Like that seems so simple, but you're right. Like it almost is like some like code of like the other side where
It's
it's
a
like if they
ghost
say no, like
yeah, I was like, it's a ghost and human code. We have to have boundaries here. We have to have boundaries there.
Yeah.
Boundaries are your best friend, man. No, I know. I don't know. And so I feel like I wouldn't get the invitation again, is what I'm basically saying. Maybe. Maybe if I asked for it again, then I
was
might
going to
get
say
it.
you threw up such a strong boundary that it's like, all right, fine. Whatever, lady.
That was my friends. They didn't want to do it. I was like, okay. I thought about it for a split second. I was like, maybe I'll just go by myself. And I was like, that's insane. Don't do that.
No. That's like
That's
going
a
into the
horror
ocean.
movie.
Always go take a friend.
yeah, you gotta
Buddy
have a
system.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That is fascinating.
Huh.
I'm just
Okay.
oh man, I think that's so crazy. I would have loved to have been there.
I'm like, have you never had an experience that you like? I'm like, Erica, come on. No, nothing.
When I was little, I did. And
She's also
I
seen
had a-
shadow people.
yeah, but
Don't like.
I haven't seen any kind of a person like I had when I was little. Like it's been a long time. I will say like the last kind of thing that I had happen that I loved was when one of our it's a family member, it was a dog, but she's a family member. When she passed, like it killed us as it does everybody because they're the best. Animals are
She
the
was
best. We don't
very,
deserve
very
them.
special to a lot
And-
of people.
Yeah, and when she passed from a day and a half later, I was here by myself and we got a weird power surge just in the room I was in. And then the next day, a flower that hangs over my daughter's closet, it's been there for 2.5 years, it fell down too. And then the other thing that happened was we have the little lock code on the door where you press the key code, like you don't have to use your key. And I heard the buttons going off, like I thought my husband was home and I was waiting for him to turn it and come in and no one did. And it was like, there's no way all those buttons could have been pressed. And I was like, oh my God, is this Vita? I was like, is that Vita? And it was so weird. And I've heard other people talk about when loved ones pass, like some cultures, believe that like there's kind of those few days after where like they're kind of still kind of tied here and also tied in like, wherever the other. And I was like, maybe it was right after, maybe it was her. Yeah. And I was like,
The middle
I
space.
think
like
it was
that.
her. I love it.
No,
But
the
when
liminal space.
Oh, I thought you said
Like that.
that's
No,
wine
not the
ears
middle,
for
but the
you.
middle's good too. No.
but like that's happy. And when I was little, I saw a weird person walk by the hallway, door opening, walking straight to my parents' room. I thought it was my mom because she is a hardcore night owl. And I went, Mom, like, why are you walking weird? And then they stopped slowly, only their head turned, looked at me, turned back, walked to my parents' room. And then I was like, do I go wake up my mom? And then all of little Erica's courage in one moment went in there and woke my mom up. So I thought someone was going in their room. It was weird.
She was
I'll never
just like,
forget
what
it.
are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, my she's wild. She's a
Mom's
wild
crazy. I
ride.
love
She
her
believes
so
in all
much.
the things, I mean, she bought me magic books when I was little. She was trying to help me
Yay.
figure out how to cast spells to change my eye color because I thought that would be fun because I saw the craft and like she's fun.
You were going to glamour your eyes.
100%. And I remember being like, Mom, they're a little bit lighter brown. They're a little bit lighter. I'm so excited.
She was like, yeah, they are, honey. I'm so proud.
But she was all in. Like if I tell her that, I mean, even actually last week, the last few days, one of her dogs has been barking at a random spot in the hallway. And she's like, Erica, I don't know what's going on. She's like, I think we need to investigate it. Like, that's my mom.
You guys should. Oh my God. Yes.
I want
Do
to.
But
I
okay,
should.
Erica's husband Bobby is like super afraid of ghosts, and
He
every
believes
time
so much.
he believes so
that
much
he's-
that he's like, no, you can't, because then we can't let Esme,
I don't want,
baby.
if we find out the place is haunted, then we can't have them watch her over there anymore. So there goes like family babysitter.
Oh, that's kind of legit.
I know, and I hate it.
I get it. I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Or your parents have to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said that.
No problem. They'll just move. Yeah, no, I have a client who has kids who has a ghost and or two. And
Wow.
Oh.
and I had to say, like, if it makes you uncomfortable, you really have to lay some serious rules, right, about going in the son's room and boundaries about that. And yeah, but I got to tell you, there was a moment one time where, again, at my best friend's house, where I thought she tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around and she was like 7 feet from me in her kitchen. And her kitchen at that time was like a 200-year-old house in Vermont. And those moments where you're like, there's no possible way, right? That's that when you said the beep, boop, boop, boop on your keypad thing. It's those moments where you're like, your brain like misfires, because it's like, there's no possible way that could have happened. How did that? Of course, my husband will be like, no, it's, hardwiring, or I don't know, a bug landed on your
part
shoulder.
of that power surge, obviously, or some creep was trying to get into your door. It's no.
Just a local neighborhood kids
for everything. Those muggles.
Oh, seriously.
But yeah,
my husband's an engineer, so I know all about it. I get to hear the science explanation.
Yes. The king of swords.
There you go. That's so cool.
If they can't quantify it, right? If they cannot figure it out and put it into, analytical terms or science or whatever it may be, then it's nonsense and it's not useful.
Right? Oh.
Yeah.
But yet when we were offered a haunted doll to take, and I was like, well, Bobby can't. Bobby said Erica can't, so we'll just take it. And Sean's like, wait, but no, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that, because then if something bad happens, I'm going to probably blame it on that. But I'm like, but you don't believe. He's like, I know, but I don't want it. And I'm like, I'm watching you.
Just in case.
I'm just watching you.
You never know.
It's 11:11 here, by the way. Just to point it out. My favorite.
That's awesome.
Good. I've always loved 11:11. Because my birthday is a 22. My dad always sees 11. And it makes me happy.
I have all my early morning appointments at 11:11 because I'm obsessed with 11s. But a lot of people are obsessed with 11s.
Yeah, it's just good. But it's a good one. I love it.
It is.
I'm obsessed with 13 because that's when my birthday is. So I'm like, that's what it is.
Hey, we get a Friday the 13th. Like soon.
Yeah, actually, that's we're trying to plan a ghost hunt that night.
We're gonna try to ghost hunt that night.
You should.
Okay, I was like, is that a bad idea?
We'll report back.
No, you should. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
We got to do it. We got to do it. I have so many questions for you. I feel like I could just take up your entire rest of your life.
No, I want to know more.
Poor
Ask
woman
me.
needs to sleep.
Well, I feel bad because it's late there. Okay, I would love to know a little bit about, so like when you're doing a reading for somebody, do they bring a question to you, or is it can you kind of approach it in different like ways? Like what do you feel and like when you're doing them?
What I usually say, by the way, I have cards here just in case you guys wanted to pull any cards, but
oh my God, that's how we'll end.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I say to people, I have a whole big spiel, right? And I say, what do you want to talk about? Right. I flip my hourglass and I say, what do you want to talk about? I say, if you can give me a general vibe, right? I want to talk about finances. I want to talk about my job. I want to talk about love. Or you can ask me some open-ended questions, or you can say, I just want to see what comes up. Naturally, my favorite version is I just want to see what comes up, because those are always the most powerful and magical and shocking, because neither of us have any preconceived notions of what we're going to talk about. And then it's always extremely accurate. So that's always my favorite. But
that's so
yeah,
cool.
but I say yes or no questions aren't good. Right. And if I were going to pull you 3 cards, I guess we could do yes or no questions, but I pull a lot. You're going to have like 12 to 15 cards, in not even counting your oracle cards out. So it's going to tell a story, right? That's what I do. I tell a story from your past into your present into your future. And so giving me a vibe about what you want to talk about is way better. And my favorite is when people say, I just want to see what comes up.
I think that's
my favorite.
That's the best, because
I
then it's
totally
kind of,
agree.
you're leaving it up to
The universe.
the cards and
Source.
the universe to kind of just like hit me with it. Let's see what's
Mhm.
happening, because they know,
Totally.
and you know anyway, so it's gonna come up, right? I feel like,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't
Run
know.
from it.
That's that's the craziest thing. I do know it's going to be. I have never had somebody say ever. Oh God, knocking on wood. But I've never had somebody say that's not right ever. And so
wow, you must surprise
Ever.
yourself. Like, I feel like I would never.
today,
I would never. Like, I would always amaze myself if I were you. It would never get old. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
is this still like happening? This is crazy.
well,
right?
it gets. Yeah, when I first started, certainly I was constantly surprised. Now it's
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
not
now
as
you're
surprised
into
at
it.
all. And
That's
people
so
are
cool.
like, "Oh my God, this is so shocking." I'm like, "It's really not that shocking." But what will
love it.
rock my mind? I'm like, "No, this is exactly how it goes."
Like,
No, but
whatever, it's
what will-
great.
Yeah, a little 8-year-old
Yeah.
Sutton's back, where it's like, yeah, I know.
Exactly. I know. I'm the goat. No, that's terrible. Oh my God, that was 8-year-old Sutton. Oh my God.
I like her.
No, I like her too. She's cute. No, the shocking. Then this happened today, and it happens, pretty frequently. Not a lot, not a ton, but like I knew in my soul, the person told me, I just want to see what comes up, but they wanted to talk about their career, right?
Mm.
And their career is very challenging. It's a big job, right? It's a very important job globally and to
Ugh.
like a really challenging job. And I knew that I was going to pull the judgment card. I knew it. In my soul, I knew that I was going to pull this card for her because what she does is so challenging and important and part of their soul journey. and it was the first, I pull I lay out the tarot, past, present, future. I lay out the oracle cards, mind, body, spirit above it. And then I lay the extra bonus oracle card out. And then I move the oracle cards to the side and say, we'll flip those after the whole tarot situation. Right. And that takes the most of the bulk of the reading. And I flipped over these cards and I looked at her past position and it was judgment. And I like freaked out. I was like, I pointed up to the sky. This is so weird, but I pointed up to the sky and I was like, thank you, spirit. Like that to me is a direct communication with the divine. That I thought it, and the divine said, no, you were 100% right. And did I, what is that? That's the mysteries of the universe that I don't understand, which is why magic is real and why the tarot is so fucking amazing and scary and powerful. And I had this freak out moment. So when that happens, and when I know I'm going to pull the moon, or I know I'm going to pull a card like that, that's when I'm like, oh, this is so great. This is so great. Oh, this is so great. I get all nerdy.
I love it. You should. I mean,
think that's cool that you still get excited about it. And you're not, 8-year-old Sutton is still awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I just
Sutton.
still the best, but still, I think it's really cool that you're still amazed by your ability and just everything, because I feel like almost anything you can become jaded with. And I think this is really cool that it's still magic to you, and that it's not just
God,
I'm good at this. This is fine.
Oh God, no, I don't think it. I think I'm good at interpreting them, but I think something speaks through me.
So
I don't think
cool.
that I don't really think it's, I just know what they mean. And I know that somehow when I pull them, I put them together the exact way that they're supposed to be, but I don't know why. And I don't know how. And there is magic with a CK. And I do believe I see wonder in the world because of it. I see wonder and it's and I have a 2-year-old and seeing his through his lens is very similar to magic and wonder of this moment, knowing that judgment was going to come up. And then there it was like, guys, this is that it's real, that this stuff is real. It blows my mind. And I say to people, I'm like, if it's a placebo, it's a placebo I like, but I know it's not because I
can't explain it.
I can make, and I can make things happen. Everybody can, if you just, as above, so below, you put it out into the universe and then you act in accord, right? That's what that means. And it provokes wonder in me daily. multiple times a day. Yeah.
That
it's
makes
really,
me so
really
happy to
special.
hear. I didn't doubt it, but it's just so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Love your
I feel
connection with
lucky.
it. Yeah. That's so cool. Okay. Another
Okay.
random question.
Uh-oh.
I won't give you too many more, but first, this comes from actually, I forget, it was on your Instagram somewhere. I saw somebody, this is a while ago. I've been stalking you forever. No, somebody left a comment that was like, oh, I really want to get a reading with Sutton, but I'm scared. And I loved your response. It was something along the lines of like, you don't have to be scared. At least with me, like fear shouldn't be involved with the reading. Like, and I loved when you said that, because as somebody who's like programmed to be anxious way too often, it was like, this is again why she's so cool. Like you don't need to bring fear into it. And because, you know, sometimes you see like in movies, or you get like this thing in your head where it's like, like the scary, like tarot card lady is going to tell you, you know, at midnight, things are going to get real bad. And it's like, no. And it's like, I really want to talk to her, but if that's going to happen. And I love that you told them, like, I thought that was just so great. So it's like, no, you don't have to be scared. It's fine. Like, what?
Thank
No.
you.
I thought that was so kind.
Think I say to a lot of people, I say, you're in really good hands. And I am extremely sensitive and connected to this. And I take it really extremely seriously. And then the biggest thing is that it's a divinatory tool, right? For looking into the future. But the beautiful thing about it, tarot, is that it takes into account that you have free will, right? Mm-hmm. It's not saying this is destined to happen. Some things, yeah, sometimes are, but like, it's about how can I lead myself towards that, not having that happen, or when it does inevitably happen, how can I look it in the face and go, that's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, right? Because, you know, the tarot wants us to reach enlightenment, and enlightenment means being okay with lack of control. It means being okay and free from fear, with the idea that everything good, I hate the words good and bad, difficult and pleasurable are equally as important to our development as a human being. And that's not easy to say to somebody who's lost someone or who is sick or all of those things. And I don't, you know, I'm not glib about that stuff, but that's it. That's the thing. And that you do have free will. If you don't want to see something like this happen, it's usually preventable. Mm-hmm. But you have to take your life into your hands and make better choices. It's that, you know, that silly meme. There's some dumb meme where it's this old photograph of a tarot card reader, witch lady, and a person, and they're like in Victorian garb. And it says, the tarot cards say that all of your problems are your fault. And the woman saying, bitch, reshuffle, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of like, yeah, I probably, whatever you call it. But yeah, no, that's what I love about it. It's not like, oh God, at 4 p.m. on the 27th, you're going to blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, then don't cross the street there, or like, don't get into that toxic relationship that you find yourself in all the time, over and over and over again. But that's why it's not, I mean, and it can be scary, but it's not scary. It's lovely. It's for our development. It's to get us to be enlightened, right? The happiest versions and the best versions of ourselves we possibly can be is what I think it's for.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that it's just like a little bit of guidance. Like it's like a little bit of a nudge, but also kind of like, here's a little window. You can look through the little porthole, and you can choose like that porthole is probably a good one. Like I'll just skate off in that direction. Well,
and the craziest thing is that even the scariest cards, I put that in quotes, scariest cards, right, are the point, right? We have to walk through the fire. Mm-hmm. We cannot ignore, the death card. People are like, oh God, don't pull the death card. I'm like, the death card is about, I mean, I would be a shitty tarot card reader if I just said it was about transformation. It's not. It's about letting something die, right? You have to let something that's not useful to you that you carry around, a person, a thing, an idea, whatever, you have to let it die. And that's painful and it's difficult, but transformation comes from that death, and beautiful things grow from the carcass that is the old version of whatever it may be. And so all of the cards lead to something positive. That's how I see it anyway. And that's why this illustrator, this beautiful cartoonist, my partner, right, in making this tarot deck was the perfect choice, because I said there should be something kind of funny in every card. Like you should think or charming or beautiful or not scary about it. And she is hitting it out of the park. She showed me something yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I laughed so hard. And it's still serious, but it doesn't have to be. It's like, fine art, right? When people are like, well, that can't be in the Met or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm not that. I'm going to be in the weird, macabre, alternative art section of the Met, I guess.
Always.
Yes.
Always. That's where we'll be. We'll see you there.
Yay.
You'll see people who don't know what they're looking at and making immature jokes. That'll be us over there.
Yeah, we'll be over in the corner.
Perfect.
Making ourselves laugh and being like, ha. That's 100% us.
That's my people, man.
It's true. Life's too doom and gloom so much of the time. You got to try to find the laughter and joy in it where you can. It doesn't always have to be so serious.
No, it's difficult. And it does feel, the tarot to me sometimes with people feels really gatekeepery. Like if you can't speak this certain kind of language and I get why they're doing it. They're so educated in it that it's become a challenge, right? You want to make it more difficult so that you're learning something different so that it becomes bigger and all of these things. But there are times where you're just like, do you even know what you're saying anymore? Like, just say it. Just say it. It doesn't have to be so complicated, I don't think. But that's why I'm going to be in the weird avant-garde version of the museum.
No, I love that you're making it accessible to people, because I have a deck right there and I've looked at it and I have a book and I've just sat there and I've been like, this is getting complicated. And I have,
what deck do you have? Show me. Tell me.
It's sitting on my shelf. I honestly haven't even looked at it since I've moved.
You're so good.
Well, I got it at this really beautiful store in LA called the Psychic Guide Bookshop, and it was my favorite. And I spent way too much money there.
You bought your own cards? No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
I love when people say that.
Too. What was that thing where I was like, oh, if you get tarot cards, you have to fart into a jar and
all these silly things to make it okay, because it's just so silly. It's like you can buy your cards.
It is.
I got putting weird rules, making it less accessible.
It's the Rider-Waite.
Yeah, I just got it because I was like, I need to start somewhere, and then I got really discouraged because I started I just was like, I'm going to do the social media thing and just follow a bunch of people. And then I was like, they're getting really deep and complicated in this. And now I feel inadequate and I'm nervous. And I have major imposter syndrome where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's hard.
Way, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just
see. I don't like that, man. I get why people are trying to make it more complicated for themselves, but you don't have to make it more complicated. I mean, that's how I see it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw, you guys, I saw this great thing today, and I'm going to butcher it again. I'm referencing a meme. Who is this person? I'm referencing a meme, but it was about imposter syndrome and how maybe we should rephrase it and start thinking of it as I'm the jokester of all jokesters. I have successfully fooled everyone into thinking that I'm XYZ. And I was like, that's actually kind of a very interesting way to look at the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's really just you. It's really just your shadow being you're full of shit. And it's but perception is reality if nobody else thinks that.
Oh my God. Pan's shadow is following me right now. That's what it is.
You got to do what I did when I had that same feeling with my cards. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? If I feel too intimidated by a spread, I'm just going to wake up and draw whatever card feels good. And I'm going to feel however I feel about the one card. And that's all that needs to talk to me today.
I think.
Because I was like, I'll just draw one.
That is the way to start. I mean,
okay.
That's And that's the only way I draw a card. Well, sometimes I'll draw more for myself, but I rarely
But
draw
you're
cards
you.
for myself.
Yeah.
No, stop. No, stop. No.
I'm doing it.
No.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You made me do it.
A card a day, man. And you'll find at the end of the day, you'll go, God, I really didn't get into that 5 of Wands, or I really did 3 of Swords, or whatever it may be. And you'll be like, hey, that did apply. That's wacky.
Okay. All right. I'm leaving my cards out.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna
Yeah,
do
leave
it.
them out. Take them out of their
Do
little
it.
Their
little
little
bed.
home on,
Yeah.
on my shelf.
Yeah.
on my goblin shelf with all my shit.
All your jars.
Yeah. All our jars
No,
and
you know what
shinies.
else you could do?
Hmm.
You could sleep with them next to you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yes,
I like
I'm
that.
down.
near
I'll
your
do that.
cards. They like
Okay.
that.
My cats might
feel
knock them over,
horrible.
but that's fine.
On my
You know, you'll
deck, I
find out.
realized I'm missing 2 cards. I didn't realize it for
Did
the last
Esme
few months. And I
ferret
don't
one
know
away?
where they are. But I don't want to get rid of my deck because I feel really like connected and I really love my deck. And I'm like,
Mm.
do I buy 2 random cards to fulfill the deck, but they don't really make it anymore? So I don't know what to do.
Oh my God, that's
You
like
gotta
my
turn your
nightmare.
house upside down.
I know. I think
Wait,
Esme
which
got
2
them.
cards are missing?
I don't remember. I'll have to figure it out. I got to go through them
You
and
have
figure
to
it
tell
out.
me. I'm scared. Oh, that's horrible.
Your baby
That's
hid them.
horrible.
Your
They're
demon baby
beautiful
that I love
cards,
so
too.
much.
I love them. They're really pretty.
Oh my God, I love that. I know there's an Oracle deck that's out of print that I bought another one. And
Good
it's
for you.
just
I get
sitting
it.
there packaged and wrapped. And you know how much it sells for on eBay? $400. I know.
Third.
People keep asking me, where do I get the deck? And I was like, oh, it's out of
Well,
print.
And I bought
And
the
I-
last one.
And I bought 700 of them. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I was like, oh my God. Also, when it's listed on eBay for $400 doesn't mean people are paying $400 for it. Also, I would
Thank
never
you.
do that because it's against my whatever.
Yeah,
But I was like,
that's- profit off of the that's no icky.
yeah, no.
I'm more
just
likely
saving
to
it
give
just in
stuff away.
case.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
know. Exactly.
I gotta find those cards. Now I'm concerned.
I know. I
Going
have
on.
to know what cards they are too.
I'll tell you.
Like
I'll
which
figure it out.
ones.
It'll take me a minute, but I will. I know it's not the tower. That one definitely showed up a few months back. So
You're like, if that one was there. Well, you
That one
can't go
coulda
from
got
that deck
lost.
anymore.
well, I
That's
got
not fair to
it.
you. You can't.
Maybe it
You're
is.
cheating yourself.
You are. You could end up with more towers than you should.
Think about that, Erica. What have you done? Just
I'm
kidding.
doubling down on my tower.
Not like you have like 3 towers now, just meaning
Yeah.
like you have more
Yeah.
chance tower.
That's true. I live dangerously, guys.
Wow.
I know. I'm like,
Joke.
don't rob yourself of the sun, 3 of cups.
I
Like, how dare you?
It probably is the sun watch. Probably do. Talk about intuitive. I bet you those are them.
I bet baby saw him and was like, I like this one. I'm going to hide it.
That's pretty.
Probably. Oh, man. Okay. I got homework.
Yeah, you do.
So
But I
since
have
you
homework
have
too.
your cards out and you offered,
do.
I think
And
we
you're
should
shuffling.
end
I am
on
shuffling.
whatever you feel like. Maybe you could draw one for each of us or whatever you think. I don't want to tell you how to do
Like
your
as a
process
collective,
at all.
it doesn't matter. We're
But,
both just like, whatever
Okay.
you want.
What do we think? Maybe let's just do one for each of you.
Okay.
Or we
Love
just
it.
pull one. Let me see what comes up. Let me see what
Okay.
comes up. Intuition. Let me see.
Uh,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
here's
fun.
my other silly tip for people is that people will be like, well, when do you know to stop shuffling? I say, well, when I feel kind of sick to my stomach is when I stop shuffling.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Then I'm like, you're done. Like now.
Wow. I love
It's
it when I
weird.
shuffle mine and one random one every once in a while will like
Pop out.
fly out like a I'm like, oh, all right. I'm
Okay.
listening.
Erica, I think this is for you. Okay. No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's the Page of Swords. And just from you saying, oh no, I know this is for you. The Page of Swords like assumes that everything is going to be wrong, like is going to go wrong. Right. Like, and in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which you'll see is that the page is like looking over their shoulder with the assumption that like, oh God, don't cross the street there or else you're going to break your leg. Don't put your eggs in those baskets because the basket's going to break, and don't. And it's like Page of Swords, not useful right now, right? Because swords are about your mind. So clearly you're smart. Clearly you're in your head. And it's just like, the Page of Swords is trying to protect you, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that you don't feel shame or fear or hurt or embarrassment or whatever it may be. And it's like, Page of Swords, you're keeping me from doing things sometimes. Like, don't do that anymore. Please don't do that. Does that resonate for you?
You're blowing my mind. Can I tell you, we talked to the person I was kind of mentioning, we talked to a couple of weeks ago. That episode is not out yet, but he kind of does astrology and he's intuitive. And I talked to him and he was saying, like, he's like, you're very, like, all of your signs are like, you're in the stratosphere, like you are nowhere on the ground. But he's like, a part of you is Taurus and you really just want to feel safe, but everything about you is just like floating way up in space and you don't like it. And he's like, you have a lot of, like, it's like a lot of anxiety, and I have tons of anxiety. And he was talking to me about it, and he was like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but he's like, I think maybe in a past life you like had a lot of trauma. And he's like, you're living your life subconsciously trying to avoid the trauma that happened in your past life, and you're living like in a way that's like kind of how you're saying, like, I'm trying to stay ahead of things and it's not helping me because they're all what ifs, and it's like, this is not serving me. So I've now been told basically the same thing twice in like a week and a half, and I'm like, oh, I gotta stop
trying to keep the plane in the air by worrying about whether it's going to crash or not.
100%, that's me. And like having a child, it's like, wow, that upkicked that wild awful part of my brain into like totally. I'm like in warp speed with that now.
Yeah, totally. And now you have two people to worry about all the time.
So now I need to fix the, like, all my existential crap and things I worry about. I'm like, now not only do I need to solve it for myself, I have to solve it for her.
Oh yeah. No, you don't. Don't worry.
You don't have to solve it for her. You focus on yourself, and then she won't have to worry about that.
But see,
God, I love that.
Yeah.
But what if? Oh my God, Page of Swords. What if? Oh my God, that is
no. The key is not to put it on your kiddo, because your kiddo has no worries right now.
I know. She's love it.
She's worried about dinosaurs and making sure that crazy Auntie Liana knows that she loves dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
Oh, she's
okay. I pulled your card.
Oh,
let's see. What do you? It's another page, which I really like. Okay. It's the Page of Pentacles. Let's see what this feels for you. Okay. I noticed that you have a lot of books in the back of your room. Do you like the Page of Pentacles is like the consummate student. They're obsessed with learning things. They're okay with things taking time, right? They'll plant the seed and let it grow and like cultivate different things. But they love options. And sometimes they will not even they'll have all the options up in the air and they don't even know which one they're going to focus on necessarily. But there is still this idea of being obsessed with learning things, right? And what I love about the Page of Pentacles is that there's curiosity, right? And so if something is difficult, what's nice is that you turn it and you're able to look at things curiously instead of letting it sink your ship, sort of. Whereas I hate to say it, whereas the Page of Swords would be like, well, it's going to happen again. I mean, it's going to happen 100,000 times. The Page of Pentacles is like, well, what do I learn from this? And how can I whatever? Does that resonate for you?
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So
I'll speak for her and say, yes, it does.
I have really eclectic obsessions at any one period of time. I have up here, I have this random thing where I was like, I'm going to learn how to make little miniature things. And also I'm cross stitching, embroidering. I have drawing, painting, a lot of down here, a lot of that stuff back here behind me is learning about how to draw plants better. And then
yes.
Learning more about crystals.
Of course, naturally.
The Pleasure of Herbs is one of my favorite books. I'm constantly, nice. Yeah, it's quite lovely. I have many loves. And I think actually my grandpa, he always told my mom and my cousins this, but I didn't know him because he died when I was very, very young. But he always told my family, no one can ever take your education away from you. So that was like something that has always like, I didn't even know the man. He died when I was like 1. But this saying has been passed down in all of our family with that.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. By the way, both of you, this page thing, right? Remember, pages are the youngest of the suits. There is still, and we talk about wonder, right? They're the childlike quality of the court, right? There is wonder in the world, right? And to remember that, and clearly you both have that. Clearly you both have it because of your pod. Like anybody who's able to, I mean, come on, it's magic, it's magical. And can I tell you, I mean, I wish that we were filming this, right? Because I shuffled again. I thought to myself, you know what? We should pull a collective card, or we should just pull a vibe, right? For what we've been talking about. And it's the effing moon. Because why wouldn't it be? And I thought, wouldn't it be great if it were the moon? It should be the moon, right?
Is.
And just like briefly, I want to say, like, trust your instincts, guys, even if it's wild, even if it's insane, even if somebody looks at you and goes, that's crazy. The moon is all about that wild part of you that says, I'm going to go out and dance naked in the rain, right? There's a reason that, and this is part of my little white book that I'm writing right now for our tarot deck. But I say, you know, there's a reason there's the word lunacy. There's a reason there's the word lunatic, right? Wolves howl under it. It controls water. It controls menstruation. It controls people dancing under it, you know, around cauldrons. The moon is that wild part of you that says you should do this. And most of the time you should listen to it without judgment. So there's a lot of parts of the moon, but that's one of my favorite parts about the moon.
I love the moon.
Go
so
wild,
much.
everybody.
I love you too.
I love this. I love the moon and I love you.
Yeah. I literally got goosebumps. People say that, but I actually did. Like seriously. Oh, Sutton, you're so.
Oh, this was amazing. Thank you for having me.
Oh man.
No,
And thank you for staying up so late for us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're so far ahead of us time-wise. So we really, really appreciate it.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
This
I think
has
my kid might be awake.
Oh
shit.
no.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Well,
this has been amazing for me.
Oh, feeling is mutual. Please tell everyone again, like how they can find you and how they can get a reading with you. Because
But I need to book a reading before
Absolutely.
everybody else. So like everybody chill out for like a minute. But yeah, okay, sorry. Tell them where they can find you.
I am Sutton Crawford on Instagram. My website is suttoncrawford.com. I am a co-founder of A Casual Coven, which is also on Instagram
Really cool.
with my partner, A Golden Willow Healing. And Tarot Deck is happening, and I'll make announcements about that. But I'm very casual. You can either book through my website, which is, again, suttoncrawford.com, or you can slip into my DMs, and I do a lot of stuff on my Instagram DMs, and it's just at Sutton Crawford. That's how you can find me.
Seriously, do yourself a favor and find Sutton.
Yeah.
You won't regret it. I guarantee that. So
I'm
you'll
riding
be nothing
high
but
right now.
delighted.
Like I'm
I
gonna
know,
go have
me
a
too.
really like kick-ass night.
I
Probably
know.
not doing
I
a
feel like
lot.
I'm not-
just feeling really
I'm not
good.
going to be able to sleep. I feel I feel jazzed, guys.
Oh, you do some hands?
I know.
Me too. Jazz hands.
Yeah, like I'm feeling it. Oh, it feels good. Okay.
Had to get that out.
Well,
thank you again. I can't say it
you.
enough. Please.
Yes, thank you.
Have a wonderful rest of your night, and hopefully we can talk again soon. And we can't wait to book a reading with you.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
legitimately.
happening.
I would love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Sutton.
Thanks. All right, bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. My kid did wake up, so I am.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
God.
run.
Go. All right, bye.
Bye.